Let me try to give you all a little enlightenment. We got a lot of people that's coming around this place that's trying to get you guys to be able to see that you're not black. You're not black. So if you're not black, then what are you? Because black is a substance. It's not a color. Black is something that makes up the universe. It's called dark matter. You close your eyelids in order to travel through a black hole to go into the dream world. So these people call themselves Moors. But they don't understand that the term Moor was applied to the dark-skinned, brown-skinned, and reddish-brown people who were not only indigenous to Europe, but to West and North Africa. But you got all of these Americans running around America calling themselves Moors. And I'm trying to understand, do they not know what they're talking about? You see, these dark-skinned European Moors were used as buffers by the pale-skinned Europeans to help colonize the New World. These indigenous black Europeans, aka the Moors, when you speak about these individuals, they not only solicited the New World to the pale-skinned Europeans, but also waged war against the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere, aka you and I, the American Indian. You see, certain black indigenous Europeans, aka Moors, that were under such titles as clergymen, European nobility, they shared the common consciousness with the pale-skinned Europeans. That common consciousness being that the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere, the aka the American Indians, were untamed heathen savages. This is how they looked at us. This is how they viewed us. Both dark-skinned and pale-skinned Europeans who were either the Celtics, the Briton, the Gaelic, or what you have, who were fleeing religious persecution in Europe, were struggling to preserve ancient tradition and customs, dubbed pagan ways, upon their new arrival to the New World. They ran to the bosom of the black Indian nations, indigenous to the Western Hemisphere, who still had an on-to and were practicing traditional spiritualities. Both cultures were different. However, both were able to relate to each other's gods. You see, the black Indian nations and the different clans native to Europe both shared a common spirituality that centered around the forces of nature. Remember, they had Yoruba, which talked about nature. Shango was fire. Yamaye was water. Oshun was the sun. They literally had the same type of spirituality that we had, so we was able to actually let them in. You see what I mean? They was honoring their ancestral spirits as well, like we did in ancient Egypt. You see, certain Moors helped to navigate Christopher Columbus's voyage over here to the New World. He wasn't lost. He was exactly where he was supposed to be going, simply because of who he was and had on the boat. The United States government, the constitutional government, is a plagiarized copy of the black Indian governmental system, the Iroquois nation, but they don't tell you about that. You see, George Washington established treaties and contracts with the various black Indian nations, as well as with the Moors, for military support against other black Indian nations who did not support the occupy of the new colonial government America. They're not going to teach you this. They're not going to teach you this. They're going to keep you in the blind and keep telling you these stories and keep distracting you so you never know the truth. So in regards to these people calling themselves Moors, the Moors are the enemies of the American Indian, which is you and I. After the colonial government confiscated most black Indian land, the colonial government, refused to pay black Indian warriors pensions for their military support. Did y'all know that the American Indians are the ones that created the army? We created the military. During the American Civil War, black Indians joined the Confederate Army in hopes of winning to secure what little ancestral land they had left. And this is the reason why it went on, but they tell us something totally different in school. Other black Indians joined the Union side of the American Civil War to fight for their own objectives as well. One of those objectives being seeking prosperity within the American system. But we'll leave this alone and we'll get into something later. If you guys want more of this, let me know. But in regards to the Moors, I want y'all to tune in to this video. Pay attention who these Moors really are. I appreciate you. King Knowledge.
You are a descendant from the worst traitors of the black race. And let me educate you. Laugh if you must, but I'll educate you on some serious shit. You ready?
Nah, man, nah. Go ahead.
I said, you ready to be educated?
Oh, I'm educated. I got a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. You're in denial.
But
Hang on.
that's just in the quote. That's just only in the European
Okay,
world.
I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna educate you on why you're some of the worst traitors of
I
black
do have
race.
the degree.
Fuck your degrees.
Yeah.
You are a descendant of those who did what in the Congo to the Africans. What? Come on.
Nah, man. You gotta realize.
No, don't tell me nah. I'm spitting facts. Don't tell me nah. Your people did what? Your people did what?
Came first.
What?
What came first? The Congo?
Do not answer a question with a question.
Who came first?
What did the Moors do to the Africans in the Congo?
After the Moors fell?
What did the Moors do to the Africans in the Congo on behalf?
Can distinguish them Uncle Tom niggas? They wore the fez.
Monkey with the Moorish garb on. If you look at the way that monkey is dressed, the monkey would usually have on a vest, a fez.
They wore the fez. You see they cracker captain, and you see the niggas right beside them wearing that damn fez. If you got the documentary, The Congo, look on the front of that documentary, The Congo, about Leopold of Belgium, and you'll see the two niggas with the fezes on there with our brothers in the middle while the cracker was shooting them down. You understand what I'm saying? Look at this low-life nigga with a fez on, with the crackers logo. You understand what I'm saying? Well, King Leopold of Belgium committed a genocide where he mass murdered 30 million of our peoples in the Congo. His 16,000 man army was these niggas right here with these fezes on their head. Ask yourself, what is in the heart of a low-life, treacherous nigga to be able to shoot down women, babies, and defenseless men knowing that they can't protect themselves? So I put this documentary out there, and here you see our brothers who is discussing it, how they slaughtered our people, how they mass murdered our people, and that they had no defense for the army, the highly mechanized artillery that they had. They knew that these Africans had no system of defense.
So then now y'all see what I'm talking about? If they did it to those over there in the Congo, and they did it to those over there in Africa, and they did it, why do you think that they did not help these Europeans do the same thing to us here in America? They were a buffer. They were the ones being used. That's why you guys are so in awe. Like, how did it happen? It happened by a people coming over here being used by another group of people to actually do things to us. Now they want you to become a Moor. Now they want you to stop calling yourself black, whatever the case may be. This is systematic data, European history that you guys are literally trying to get us to hang on to. How about we do this? How about we just be the indigenous people of America? And if you're not from America and you're indigenous to Europe and Africa, how about you stay out of our business? How about that? You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are from America that hate themselves. This is getting retarded. This is getting ridiculous. There's a lot of indigenous Americans that look like me and you that don't like who they are. This is crazy. You've been programmed so much that you want to be African and you want to be Moorish and you want to be European, but you don't want to be your indigenous self. Come on, man. You got to wake up. 98% of us were already here in the Americas before these people even came over here. You guys got to wake up. They even documented they only brought 300,000 Africans to America. That's documented. And most of them did not have complexion and pigmentation like me and you. Now we're going to go into the white Slavic trade that they were doing from Ireland and British and the French and all of these places. And they were sending their criminals under the Walton Act to America. They were sending all of their criminals, all of their infestation, all of their disease-ridden robbers, killers, murderers, and all of this stuff. They were sending that over here to America. You guys don't know. They do the same thing today that they did back then. They do the same thing with Mexico today. They do the same thing with Europe today. They do the same thing. They did the same thing to Australia. Maybe you guys need to go check that out as well. They sent their prisoners over there to actually populate that coast. And they literally kicked the Aborigines back into the bush. Come on, man. Help me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but come on, we got to actually, you know what I'm saying, question some of these things that these people are claiming to be and then trying to get us to claim to be. Hopefully you guys stay tuned. Appreciate you listening to part 1 of King Knowledge, Destroy the Moors.